My love, there comes a moment in every person's life when silence becomes heavier than words. For years, I have lived inside a world where decisions were made quickly. Rockets launch because someone decides. Companies survive because someone chooses. Futures change because someone stops waiting and finally acts. But this is different because for the first time in my life, the decision that matters most is not mine. It's yours. And that's why I need your answer within 24 hours. Not because I'm trying to pressure you, not because I want to rush your heart, but because I have spent far too long standing at the edge of this feeling, hoping you would somehow see everything I never learned how to say. I thought maybe my actions would speak. I thought maybe my presence would be enough. I thought maybe you would simply know. But love doesn't work that way. People aren't mind readers. Hearts aren't machines. And sometimes the greatest mistake we make is assuming someone already understands what we never had the courage to say out loud. So, today, I am saying it clearly, honestly, without hiding behind jokes, ambition, success, or distractions. I love you. Not the version of you the world sees. Not the version that smiles for everyone else. Not the version that acts strong when nobody notices the pain. I love the person underneath all of that, the one who stays awake thinking, the one who worries quietly, the one who carries burdens nobody else sees, the one who keeps giving even when she has almost nothing left. That person, that's who I fell in love with, and now I need to know something. I need to know whether this feeling lives inside you too, because every day I wait without knowing feels like standing between two different futures, one future where I finally get to build a life with you, and another where I spend the rest of my life wondering what could have happened if I had asked sooner. I don't want to wonder anymore. I've spent enough years wondering if I worked hard enough, wondering if impossible things could become possible, wondering whether dreams could become reality. Now I have only one question left. Do you see me the way I see you? Do you feel something when my name appears on your phone? Do you think about me when the world grows quiet? Do you ever imagine a future where we're standing side by side instead of apart? I don't need perfection. I don't need guarantees. I don't need forever written in stone. I just need honesty. Because honesty is where every real story begins. And I would rather hear a painful truth than spend another year living inside uncertainty. That is why these next 24 hours matter. Not because they determine my worth. Not because they determine your worth, but because they determine whether two people who care deeply about each other finally stop hiding behind fear. My love, the clock has started, and for the first time in my life, I am waiting for an answer that no amount of money, success, intelligence, or power can buy. Only your heart can give it, and I pray it does. My love, I've spent a lot of time thinking about what happens if your answer is yes. Not because I expect it, not because I feel entitled to it, but because every time I imagine hearing that one simple word, something inside me becomes strangely quiet. And if you know anything about me, you know how rare that is. My mind is never quiet. There is always another problem to solve, another future to build, another challenge waiting somewhere on the horizon. My thoughts move faster than most people can follow. Yet, whenever I imagine you saying yes, everything slows down. For a moment, the noise disappears and all I can see is you. Not a fantasy, not some perfect version of reality, just you, exactly as you are. Because the truth is, I don't need perfection. I never did. I've seen what perfection looks like from a distance. Perfect careers, perfect images, perfect relationships that look beautiful on the outside and empty on the inside. None of it lasts. None of it matters. What matters is finding one person who feels like home. And somehow, against all odds, you became that person for me. If your answer is yes, I'm not imagining fireworks. I'm not imagining some dramatic movie scene. I'm imagining ordinary moments. The moments nobody posts online. The moments nobody applauds. The moments that quietly become the best parts of a life. I'm imagining waking up and knowing you're still there. I'm imagining hearing about your day, listening to the stories you've told 100 times, and still wanting to hear them again. I'm imagining laughing over things that make absolutely no sense to anyone else. I'm imagining sitting beside you in complete silence and somehow feeling more understood than I ever have during the loudest conversations of my life. Because that's what real love is. It's not excitement every second, it's peace, it's comfort. It's knowing someone is there without needing constant proof. And my love, That's what I want with you. Not because I'm lonely, not because I need someone to complete me, but because life becomes more meaningful when it's shared with the right person. I've accomplished things I once thought were impossible. I've watched rockets leave Earth. I've seen ideas become realities. I've stood in rooms where people told me something couldn't be done, and then watched it happen. Yet none of those victories ever filled the space that human connection fills. Success is loud, love is quiet. Success impresses strangers. Love heals the soul. And lately, I've realized something. The moments that matter most aren't the ones the world remembers. They're the ones shared between two people who choose each other every day. If your answer is yes, I won't promise perfection. I won't promise we'll never disagree. I won't promise there won't be difficult days, because every real relationship has storms. Every real love story faces challenges. What I can promise is this: I won't run when things get hard. I won't disappear when life becomes inconvenient. I won't make you carry everything alone. I've spent enough years learning what happens when people leave. I know the damage it causes. I know how deeply abandonment can shape a person. And because I know that pain, I never want to become the source of it for you. If you say yes, I will choose you. Not once, not only today, but every day after. Because love isn't a feeling you have once. It's a decision you make repeatedly. It's waking up and choosing the same person, even after the excitement fades, even after the mystery disappears, even after life becomes ordinary, especially then. Because ordinary is where real love proves itself. My love, I often wonder if you understand how much courage it took me to ask this question. People assume confidence comes naturally to me. They think fear doesn't exist for someone who spends his life taking risks. But they're wrong, because no rocket failure, no business failure, no public criticism has ever scared me as much as the possibility of losing someone I truly care about. That is the risk I'm taking right now. Not financial risk, not professional risk, heart risk, and strangely enough, it's the most important risk I've ever taken. Because if your answer is yes, everything changes, not overnight, not dramatically, but deeply. The future stops being something I imagine alone. It becomes something we build together. And honestly, that's the future I want most. So if you're sitting there right now, wondering what happens, if you say yes, the answer is simple. Nothing changes, and everything changes. You'll still be you. I'll still be me. The world will keep spinning. The sun will still rise tomorrow. But somewhere inside both of us, a door will finally open, a door that has been waiting for far too long. And on the other side of that door is the possibility of something neither of us has fully experienced before. Not excitement, not obsession, not temporary passion, but something much rarer, something steady, something lasting, something real. And my love, if your answer is yes, I promise you this: I will walk through that door with you, one day at a time, one moment at a time, one choice at a time, until the word forever no longer feels like a dream, but simply the life we're living. My love, before you answer me, there is something I need you to understand. This question I have placed in your hands is not a trap. It is not an ultimatum. It is not a way to force your heart toward mine, because love that must be forced is not love at all. And if your answer is no, I want you to know something that may surprise you. I will still be grateful, not because rejection doesn't hurt, not because I am somehow immune to heartbreak, but because honesty is one of the greatest gifts one person can give another. And if your answer is no, at least I will finally know. For years I have lived inside uncertainty, and uncertainty is a strange kind of pain. It keeps hope alive while slowly exhausting the soul. It convinces you that maybe tomorrow everything will change. Maybe next week, maybe next month, maybe someday. But someday can become a prison, a place where people spend years waiting for a future that never arrives. I don't want to live there anymore, and I don't want you to live there either. So if your answer is no, please don't soften it for me. Don't say maybe if you mean no. Don't leave a door open out of guilt. Don't try to protect my feelings by sacrificing your truth, because your truth matters more than my comfort. Always. My love, one of the hardest lessons life ever taught me is that not everything we want is meant for us. I wanted things that never happened. I chased dreams that failed. I fought for outcomes that slipped through my fingers. At first, I thought failure was punishment. Now I understand something different. Sometimes failure is simply redirection. Sometimes life closes a door, because another path is waiting, and maybe, if your answer is no, that is what this moment will become. Not the end of a story, but the beginning of understanding. Because the worst heartbreak isn't hearing no. The worst heartbreak is spending years believing someone might choose you when they never intended to. That kind of heartbreak steals time, and time is the one thing none of us ever get back. That's why I need your answer. Not because I fear rejection, because I fear wasting both our lives inside uncertainty. You deserve clarity. I deserve clarity. And clarity requires courage. The courage to tell the truth even when the truth hurts. If your answer is no, I will not hate you. I will not blame you. I will not try to convince you otherwise. Love is not persuasion. Love is freedom. And real love wants the other person to be happy, even if happiness leads them somewhere else. I know those words sound noble, but believe me, they are not easy, because every part of me wants your answer to be yes. Every hopeful part, every dreaming part, every lonely part, every human part. Yet loving someone means respecting their choice, even when that choice breaks your heart. And if your answer is no, I will respect it completely, because I would rather lose you honestly than keep you through obligation. I don't want reluctant love. I don't want sympathy. I don't want someone staying because they feel guilty leaving. I want someone who chooses me freely, the same way I am choosing you now. My love, there is another reason I need your answer. Because if your answer is no, then I need to begin letting go. And letting go doesn't happen in a single moment. It happens slowly, like the sun disappearing behind the horizons, little by day, memory by memory, hope by hope, until eventually the heart accepts what the mind already knows. I won't pretend that process will be easy. It won't. You matter too much for that. There are people who pass through our lives quietly. And then there are people who leave fingerprints on our soul. People who change the way we think, the way we feel, the way we see the world. You are one of those people, whether you realize it or not. And because of that, losing the possibility of us would hurt deeply. But pain isn't the enemy. Hope is. Pain heals. Hope lingers. Pain teaches. Hope traps. Pain eventually fades. Hope keeps reopening the wound. That's why I'm asking for honesty. Not comfort, not kindness. Truth, pure truth, because truth allows healing to begin. My love, maybe you're afraid of hurting me. Maybe that's why you've hesitated. Maybe that's why you've stayed silent. But hear me carefully. Silence hurts more. Not because silence is cruel, because silence creates endless possibilities. And the heart tends to choose the one it wants most. The heart starts imagining futures that don't exist, conversations that never happen, promises that were never made. I know because I've done it. I've imagined us. More times than I can count. I've imagined your hand in mine. I've imagined sharing ordinary mornings with you. I've imagined introducing you to parts of my world no one else sees. I've imagined growing old beside you. And maybe those dreams belong only to me. Maybe they always did. If that's true, then I need to know. Not tomorrow, not next year. Now, because uncertainty has already taken enough time from both of us. My love, whatever answer you give me, I want you to know one thing. You changed me. You made me understand that success means very little if there's nobody meaningful to share it with. You reminded me that behind every achievement is still a human heart searching for connection. You taught me that vulnerability is not weakness, it is courage. And because of that, I will always be grateful for you. Always. So if your answer is no, say it honestly, say it clearly, and I will carry the disappointment with dignity. Because real love isn't measured by whether someone stays. It's measured by whether you honor their choice when they leave. And if that is your choice, then I will honor it, even while my heart quietly wishes it had been different. My love, there was a time in my life when I believed there would always be more time to say what mattered, more time to fix mistakes, more time to tell people how much they meant to me, more time to become the person I wanted to be. And for a while, life seemed to agree. Years passed, opportunities came and went, success arrived, Filchers arrived too, but time kept moving, quickly, relentlessly, without asking permission, without slowing down, without caring whether I was ready. And somewhere along the way, I realized something that changed me. The biggest illusion we live under is believing we have unlimited tomorrows. We don't. None of us do. That realization is why I can't wait any longer. It isn't because I'm impatient. You know how patient I've become. I've waited through impossible projects. I've waited through failures that seemed permanent. I've waited through years of uncertainty while chasing dreams. Everyone called unrealistic waiting has never scared me. What scares me now is regret, because regret is different. Regret is looking back and realizing you had the chance to say something important and stayed silent. Regret is realizing the person who mattered most never heard the truth because you convinced yourself there would always be another opportunity. Regret is discovering that someday isn't a destination, it's an excuse. And my love, I refuse to let you become my greatest regret. That's the truth, the raw truth, the unfiltered truth. For longer than you realize, I've carried these feelings quietly. Not because they weren't real, because they were. Not because I was unsure, because I wasn't. I stayed silent because silence felt safer. Silence protected me from rejection. Silence protected me from disappointment. Silence protected me from hearing an answer I might not want. But silence also protected me from something else: happiness, possibility. And eventually I realized something. The safest path isn't always the best one. Sometimes safety is simply fear wearing a more acceptable disguise. I think that's what happened to me. I called it patience. I called it timing. I called it waiting for the right moment. But underneath all those explanations, I was afraid. Afraid that what I felt wasn't returned. Afraid that opening my heart would leave it exposed. Afraid that everything I imagined could disappear with a single word. But then I asked myself a question: what is worse, getting hurt by the truth, or spending the rest of my life wondering what the truth was? The answer became obvious. Wondering hurts longer. My love, every year teaches us something. And one thing life keeps teaching me is that certainty is rare. Nothing stays forever. People leave. Opportunities disappear. Moments pass. The future changes. The world changes. We change. The only thing we truly control is whether we speak our truth while we still have the chance. That is why I am speaking now. Not next month. Not next year. Now. Because I don't want another season to pass, pretending these feelings don't exist. I don't want another year wondering whether we could have been something extraordinary together. I don't want another chapter of my life written around a question mark. I need an answer, because my heart has been waiting long enough, and maybe yours has too. Sometimes I think about all the conversations we've had, all the moments that seemed ordinary at the time, the moments that didn't look important, yet somehow stayed with me: a laugh, a message, a memory, a simple exchange that lasted only minutes, but remained in my mind for months. That's how I knew this was different, because most people leave impressions. You left echoes long after the conversation ended. I could still feel your presence. Long after the moment passed, I was still thinking about it, and eventually I had to stop pretending that meant nothing, because it meant everything. My love, the truth is, I don't need your answer within 24 hours because the clock is running out. I need your answer because my heart has finally reached a place where honesty matters more than fear, a place where clarity matters more than comfort, a place where knowing matters more than wondering. I've spent most of my life moving forward, building, creating, solving, yet this one part of my life has remained suspended between possibility and uncertainty, and I can't live there anymore. Not because uncertainty is unbearable, because certainty is finally available. All it requires is courage. My courage brought me this far. Now the next step belongs to you. Maybe your answer will change everything. Maybe it won't. Maybe it will open a door. Maybe it will close one. But either way, the waiting ends. And there is freedom in that. Freedom in truth. Freedom in clarity. Freedom in finally knowing where we stand. My love, if I have learned anything from life, it is this: the greatest losses are not the things that fail. The greatest losses are the things we never attempt, the words we never say, the risks we never take, the people we never choose. I refuse to lose you that way. I refuse to let fear write the ending of our story before we've even discovered what the story could become. That is why I am asking. That is why I am waiting. That is why these 24 hours matter. Not because they decide my future, but because they finally reveal the truth, and whatever that truth is, I am ready to face it. Because living honestly is always better than living inside uncertainty. And my love, for the first time in a very long time, I am ready for the truth, no matter what it is, my love. As these 24 hours draw closer to their end, I find myself feeling something I didn't expect: peace. Not because I already know what your answer will be. Not because I am certain the future will unfold the way I hope, but because for the first time in a very long time, I have nothing left to hide. Everything that mattered has been placed in front of you. Every truth, every feeling, every hope, every fear, every part of my heart that spent so long locked behind walls, built from ambition, responsibility, and survival. It's all here now. And strangely enough, that feels like freedom, because no matter what happens next, I will never have to wonder whether I should have said more. I will never have to ask myself whether I waited too long. I will never have to lie awake at night, imagining an alternate future where I finally found the courage to tell you the truth. I found that courage. I chose honesty. I chose you. And that choice has already changed me. You see, when I first started this journey, I thought the answer I was waiting for belonged to you. But somewhere along the way, I realized something unexpected. The first answer belonged to me, and I have already given it. My answer is yes. Yes to loving you, yes to choosing you, yes to standing beside you, yes to building something real, yes to being vulnerable enough to risk heartbreak, yes to believing that what I feel is worth fighting for. That answer is settled. It is no longer a question. The only question remaining is yours. My love, I want you to understand something important. Your answer will determine our path, but it will not determine my gratitude. Because even before I knew what your answer would be, you gave me something priceless. You reminded me that my heart was still capable of feeling this deeply. You reminded me that beneath all the goals, deadlines, responsibilities, and expectations, I am still human. And being human means risking disappointment for the chance at something beautiful. For years, I convinced myself that control was strength, that having all the answers was strength, that never needing anyone was strength. I was wrong. Real strength is standing in uncertainty and remaining open. Real strength is offering your heart without guarantees. Real strength is looking at someone and saying, "This is who I am. This is what I feel. This is what I hope for. And now I trust you with the truth." That is what I have done with you, and regardless of what happens next, I am proud of that because you inspired it, my love. If your answer is yes, then this is not the ending. It is the beginning of thousands of ordinary moments that eventually become an extraordinary life, the beginning of shared mornings, conversations, shared dreams, rad challenges, shared victories, not because life suddenly becomes perfect, because life becomes shared, and shared burdens feel lighter, shared joy feels larger, shared love feels endless. I don't need perfection from you. I never did. I don't need you to always know the right thing to say. I don't need you to always be strong. I don't need you to have all the answers. I only need one thing: your honesty, your willingness to walk forward together, one step at a time, one day at a time, one choice at a time. That's enough. More than enough, because the strongest relationships aren't built in giant moments. They're built in small moments repeated consistently. The daily choice to stay, the daily choice to care, the daily choice to listen, the daily choice to love. That is the future I see. That is the future I want. That is the future I am prepared to build with you, my love. And if your answer is no, then hear me carefully. Nothing I have said becomes a mistake. Nothing I have felt becomes wasted. Nothing about this journey becomes meaningless. Because love is not measured by possession. Love is measured by truth. And the truth is that loving you made me better. It made me braver. It made me softer. It made me more honest. It forced me to confront parts of myself I had spent years avoiding. It reminded me that behind every accomplishment is still a heart longing to connect. That lesson alone is worth everything. So if your answer is no, I will survive, not because losing you would be easy, because your impact on my life is already permanent. You have already changed me, and nobody can take that away. My love, there is one final thing I need you to know. The reason I asked for 24 hours was never because I wanted to pressure you. It was because I wanted to honor this moment. Some moments deserve clarity. Some moments deserve honesty. Some moments deserve an answer. This is one of those moments, because life moves quickly, too quickly. One day becomes 1 year becomes a decade, and suddenly we find ourselves looking backward, wondering where all the time went. I don't want that for us. I don't want another year of wondering, another year of guessing, another year of imagining possibilities that may or may not exist. I want truth, whatever that truth may be. because truth gives us direction. Truth allows us to move forward. Truth allows us to stop standing at the crossroads and finally choose a road. My love, as I sit here now, waiting for your answer, I realize something beautiful. I am no longer afraid, not of rejection, not of disappointment, not of uncertainty, because fear loses its power the moment honesty arrives. And honesty is here now, completely fully, without reservation. My answer is chosen, my heart is open, my intentions are clear. There are no hidden meanings, no games, no conditions, no strategies, just one man standing in front of the woman he loves and saying, I choose you, I have chosen you, and I would choose you again. The only thing left unknown is whether you choose me too. So take these final hours, sit with your heart, agores what other people would say, agores what fear would say, agores what past disappointments would say. Listen only to yourself. Listen only to the quiet voice inside that already knows the truth. And when you're ready, give me your answer. Not the answer that feels safest, the answer that feels real, because real answers create real futures. And whatever future waits on the other side of this moment, I will walk toward it with gratitude. But my love, if your heart feels even a fraction of what mine feels, if somewhere deep inside you there is a voice whispering, yes, then don't let fear silence it. Don't let doubt bury it. Don't let tomorrow steal what today is brave enough to say, because some opportunities arrive only once. Some people arrive only once, and some loves only once in a lifetime. My answer is already chosen. My heart is already certain. My love. Now I need yours. The clock is still ticking, but my choice has already been made. I choose you. The question is, will you choose me too?